Hey, my name's Wolf again.
And I'm Toad.
This is Toad. We're here for another podcast, Return of the Wolf. We're
not really sure what to talk about today.
Actually, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about maybe, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the world right now that neither of us really feel that we know enough about to confidently discuss.
Yeah, well...
but it's not going to stop us, probably.
No, it's not. But maybe we'll just talk about something simple, like the fact that you went to Antarctica at one point.
I did go to Antarctica at one point.
Tell us about that. What was that like?
Honestly, hot take, pretty boring. It was cool. It's cool. Like, I'm very grateful I had the opportunity to go. But so the way I did it was you're just on like what's effectively like a cruise ship. It's just like a big ship. And you're just kind of on there for, I think it was about a week. We left from, the port was in a town called Ushuaia in Argentina. It's like the southernmost, I think, city in the world or town. But it's sort of right down the bottom of South America, basically. And then you have to go through, once you're on the boat goes through this bit of water called the Drake Passage, which is really, I don't know, rocky water. It's not like it's treacherous or anything, I don't think. And then, so do you know what Antarctica looks like?
Do I know what it looks like? On the map?
Yeah, right. So, like, you know that, like, tail bit that comes off? So we go to that. So it's, kind of, like, technically speaking, like, the northernmost point of Antarctica. Right, so you just go to that little bit. You're just on the boat for, like, a week. And then at certain points when the weather's kind of favourable, which it, like, rarely was, like, there were quite a few days it was cancelled, you go out on these little inflatable boats, Zodiacs they call them, and then you go onto the land of Antarctica for a couple hours. We did we checked out this one research station called Esperanza Station, which I think was run by, I don't even know, I'm assuming the Argentinians. I don't think the Spanish have any claims to Argentina. To Antarctica.
Wow.
We were there for a bit, and then we checked out this other place that was just called, like, Whalers Bay.
Okay.
Talked to this dude who researches penguins, which was interesting. He just sort of said they fall over a lot, but then they're fine. They get back up. And, yeah.
That's all you had to say about penguins. Like,
Not that I can remember. It's like 8 years ago now.
I just had this idea of this dude for the past 20 years just constantly going back to his base in America or whatever. Yep, penguins are still falling over occasionally.
Still falling over. Still adorable. And that's about all they got going for them. So I'll tell you what, when you see photos of penguins, you think they're the cutest things ever, right? And they are. To be fair, they're very cute. But what a picture does not convey, or a video, is that they reek. They stink. Because they're just flopping around in their own fecal matter. Like, they're just pooping and eating fish. Their diet consists of fish. And they're just pooping and flopping around in it. And they stink. It's just sitting there. Like, so they're sitting on, the frozen ground. And there's just a massive brown patch of just shit under them while they waddle around. So, my clothes, reeked of it.
Your clothes?
For weeks.
Why? Did you
the outer jacket. No, I didn't touch the poop. It was just, was in the air. Because you're, close to the penguins.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, wow. I mean, but that,
it's still cool.
Poop part aside, that's a pretty, sounds like a really cool experience.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, once again, very grateful for...
Yeah, not many people... Yeah, I think only a handful of people really go to Antarctica, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never thought of Antarctica as a place that people would go to, commercially, because,
there's nothing to do there.
Yeah,
I spent most of the time on the boat just eating.
Yeah. Was it cold?
Yeah, it was cold. I think it was minus 30 on average, because we went in the quote-unquote summertime. Right, yeah, but it's 10 degrees warmer, I think, than what the winter would be.
Did you ride around on huskies and stuff?
No, I've actually done that as well.
Oh, no, you have? Oh.
Yeah, I did that in Finland and Lapland. I was on a sled.
How's that?
Pretty cool. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, wow.
That's a very nice country, Finland.
Yeah, I've heard many good things about. I like Finland because they've a few of my favourite bands are from Finland. Like I reckon they've got a really good metal scene in Finland.
Yeah, it's huge there, black metal.
But yeah, I'm just a fan of Scandinavia in general. Like I just think they've just got something that works. I feel like. Yeah,
incredibly beautiful places naturally, and I mean I don't know. I was just a tourist, but the people seemed genuinely very nice. Every single person I talked to over there or encountered was, genuinely lovely.
Yeah, well,
despite you'd feel like the weather would make you feel pretty depressed most of the time, but.
Yeah, but.
You probably get used to it.
I don't know, because they've got free healthcare, free education.
Yeah, they're pretty good on the social benefits in Scandinavian countries, aren't they?
Yeah, which I don't know. I guess that would make you pretty happy. But yeah, I suppose they don't get a lot of vitamin D. But they probably make up with it with vitamin D tablets, maybe.
True. Well, they get plenty of vitamin D in the summer, especially when you go further north. The sun it essentially doesn't set.
Oh, true.
Like in the winter where it comes up for. I think we stayed in a town called Tromsø in Norway. I probably said that very wrong. Tromsø. And it was the sun came up at about 12 o'clock, I think, and it was already back down by 1, something like that. You know what I mean? I think it was a little bit over an hour of sunlight. Which is not what we're really used to here in this country at any season.
No, yeah, we see the sun quite a bit, and I do occasionally I try to have staring contests with the sun.
Yeah.
And it wins every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
God bless you, just keep on trying, don't you?
Yeah. I suppose once I'm blind though, then it won't really bother me because I'll be blind.
Why would you go blind?
Because I'm staring at the sun.
Is that bad for you?
It is bad for you, yeah, to stare at the sun.
Is it?
You know that it is.
So anyway, Wolf, what about do you have any travelling stories or anything like that?
Well, not really. Apart from the fact that I did travel to Europe with my dad, but I was only 8 years old at the time.
Where'd you go?
Well, I mean, it was a very memorable trip. Went to Japan first. That was more of a stopover, but I was there for about a day. And yeah, as a kid, I remember it just being a real cool culture shock for me in a good way. I just remember, I have a vivid memory of because we didn't really leave the airport, but I do remember there was a bunch of school kids that were roughly my age, and all just looking at me like, "Whoa, someone who's not Asian is here."
Yeah, right.
And I was like, "Oh wow, this is what it feels like to be a minority." I wasn't thinking that because I was 8 years old. I didn't know what. But
in reflection.
But it was in a good way. You know what I mean? It was just wow, culture, people were different, and all this sort of stuff. It was just but then so then went to Ireland and England to see family and stuff. But probably the most memorable thing I did while on that trip was I was with my dad, and we went to this place called Newgrange. And Newgrange is a building that's older than the pyramids, and which makes it pretty fucking old because that's the pyramids at least 7,000 years old, and so it's a building that's probably tens of thousands of years old, maybe, I don't know. But the cool thing about it is that on the winter solstice, and we were there for the winter solstice as well, the sun shines through the front passage of the building, and it shines down through the centre into the main chamber. I happened to be there during that cosmic event.
Wow.
And it's pretty. I'm pretty grateful that I got to see that because it's it's not something that you can just do.
No.
You have to book years in advance.
Oh, really?
And because like you can do tours whenever you want, but obviously
for the winter solstice
for that particular time as well, because it only lasts for about 10 minutes or so. I don't know, but it was also quite fascinating. So a building that's been constructed that hasn't fallen down, it's remained pretty much preserved for thousands of years. But back then, people were smart enough to mathematically work out exactly where the sun is going to be.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure why. I think it's something to do with the Wiccan stuff or something like that. But yeah, that's my my only real travel story that I have of going overseas. Although I've been to Vanuatu and
that's cool.
Those kinds of places. But yeah, but I want to travel again. I want to go see. Well, am I going back to Japan actually, and just because I consume a lot of stuff from Japan, like
media-wise or
media-wise, food. And also just like the culture there. I think
I'm pretty desperate to get over there too. I feel from what I've seen on TikTok, I don't know, but it seems really geared towards solo travel, Yeah. It would be fairly good to do, just slip into one of those little ramen shops where you just write down what you want on a ticket and give it to a person behind a curtain.
That'd
be unreal.
For introverted people.
Yeah, that really appeals to me.
Yeah, well, but it's just so cool that people even thought of that, because I was actually talking to someone. Well, I was talking to people on a few of my friends, and how we like to do certain things because we're we consider ourselves to be pretty introverted, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're.
It's funny having a group of introverts.
Yeah. But then, someone comes on and is all like, "Oh, well, I did this and this and this, and I'm no longer introverted anymore." And we're just kind of like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
And we're just glad that there's a whole culture of people that don't see it necessarily as a bad thing. Just
just is how it is.
It is how it is. Yeah. And so, I don't know.
No, that is cool. Where else would you want to go? If you had a free ticket right now.
And I could go anywhere?
Anywhere in the world.
Probably Scandinavia.
Where specifically?
Sweden, probably.
Yeah.
Although I have heard Sweden has issues with gangs, but I don't know. But from what I've heard, moving all the kind of also as well, I do prefer the cold over the heat. And also moving all the environmental and social stuff aside, that's all great, that's awesome. But Sweden actually also does have a very big, thriving gaming culture, similar to Japan, because the three main areas in the world for gaming or esports is Europe, Asia, and America.
Yeah.
And the capital, I guess, of the gaming stuff is in Sweden, from what I understand.
Like European gaming?
Yeah. Apparently it's very common there. You know how if you walk into a bar or RSL here and you see NRL or whatever playing, there it's very likely that you might see League of Legends. Esports, And and don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against, people that are into
sport,
typical mainstream sport like tennis, NRL, all that sort of stuff. That's fine, but I don't know. I'm a gamer myself, so naturally.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You'd be interested in gaming.
Yeah, and also, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Might as well.
What?
Invest in that,
By going to Sweden.
Yeah.
And playing games.
Well, not
by watching games.
By watching games, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. But it's
that's cool.
Pretty flawed logic there, but
no, it's not flawed. It makes sense. It's a major export. I know Minecraft is Swedish, isn't it? Notch was Swedish, wasn't it?
Actually, yeah. I think there's a Minecraft-themed bar
There you go.
in Sweden.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, yeah, Sweden specifically, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Norway is a pretty massive exporter of, like, what would you call them, computer chips, like that sort of thing. Is that what you call them, motherboards?
Motherboards.
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, makes sense,
But, like,
I suppose.
silicon chips, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Although, one thing that kind of, like I was talking to someone a while ago who were talking about countries like Sweden that have more social policies. But they also say that because of that, there's no room for innovation either. And I'm just wondering, like, why?
I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean? Like, why would that be the case?
Yeah.
But
because people aren't suffering, they're not going to look for a way to end their suffering. Therefore, they're complacent because their needs are met. Like, it's just silly. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it just means that. Well, I think that just meant like nothing new. Like nothing gets invented. Like that's why they don't have like a space program or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah, right.
Oh yeah, but I don't really get it. But yeah. But where would you go next if?
I mean, I really would like to go to Japan.
Yeah. Okay.
Really would like to go to Japan.
Where else have you been?
I've been around. I've been to a couple places. So going to Antarctica was like part of a South America sort of trip. So I went to Argentina, just Buenos Aires, which was beautiful. Oh, sorry, I also went to Ushuaia, but I was there for like a couple of hours. I went to Chile, just Santiago, which was a very lovely city as well. Went to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, which was beautiful, like one of the most amazing beaches I've ever seen. I went to Ecuador as well, went to the Galapagos Islands and checked out Quito. And I went to Peru.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Peru.
Yeah, it's cool. Went and saw, went to Cusco and Machu Picchu.
Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty cool. Did you know that Oxford University, I think the university in Oxford, is older than Machu Picchu?
Wow, okay,
Isn't that weird?
That's a fact that...
Major wig out.
So, Oxford is
it's very, very old.
Are we talking like thousands of years old? Wow, okay. I mean, yeah,
Let me look it up.
Although I've heard you can't really go to Machu Picchu anymore. They've closed it off to tourists, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
How old is Machu?
My dad went to Machu Picchu.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it was alright. Hanging out with some Incas.
Yeah, man. And they have this drink as well, which is still owned by Coca-Cola Amatil, like the company, but it's Inca Cola. It's really cool. It's like a yellow drink. Tastes a bit like a creaming soda, I feel.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really remember, but because of like the altitude in all the cities, like I wasn't accustomed to it, being someone who's like lived at sea level my entire life, and I don't know, probably not having the best lungs. But the locals or people guiding us around were just saying like, yeah, you need hits of sugar, really helps. So I'm just chugging Inca Cola the whole time. We went up to the top of it was just like to the people living there, just some average mountain just in their backyard. You can just hop up on a gondola. Is that what they're called? Cable cars, whatever.
Yeah,
the things that take you up. Just on like a weekend in the park, and like I was cooked, bro. They had it laid out perfectly for the tourists. They had like flavoured air up the top. You could get strawberry and cotton candy flavoured air, and like you're gonna get it because it's just like cooked, even if it does nothing to you. It's just fried. All right.
Okay. Wow.
So, Machu Picchu may have been occupied from around. It would have been built. What the hell? Yeah. Okay. Machu Picchu would have been built in the 1450s. It says here on Google. Most likely around the 1420s. And Oxford. Evidence for teaching at Oxford University dates as far back as 1096.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, close to 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like 900, give or take.
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Jeez. So much history, man.
Isn't it interesting?
We might go to Oxford just for the history. Is that weird?
A lot of Harry Potter was filmed. Yes.
No, well, sure. But is that where Stephen Hawking went?
I would think he was an alumnus of Oxford. I don't know. Either that or like Yale, right?
Yeah, it's so like it freaks me out a little bit to think that because I know that. Well, I'm pretty sure he.
He went to Cambridge.
Cambridge, that's right.
But he was born in Oxford, funnily enough, like the town.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, he went to school with Jimmy Carr.
What?
Yeah, well, Jimmy Carr said that in
How old's Jimmy Carr?
How old is he?
Yeah.
He's pretty old, I reckon.
Stephen Hawking was like in his 70s when he died, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
they just went to the same school, not at the same time.
But well, because I don't know, because I remember watching one of his stand-ups, and like how he gets people to ask him questions, like heckle him and stuff. Like someone asked, like, what was the most memorable thing about going to Cambridge or something like that, and he said, hanging out with Stephen Hawking, I guess. I'm not sure if he was joking.
I think he was being sarcastic.
Well, but if it...
Jimmy Carr's probably in his, 40s or something?
I'd say 50s. I mean, he's got a lot of plastic in him.
He does have a lot of plastic in him.
Yeah.
I don't know, did Stephen Hawking teach there or something? I don't think Jimmy Carr would have been studying, what was it, quantum physics?
No,
that was his whole thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't be studying with him, but...
Yeah. Just he was rolling around, respectfully.
Respectfully. Yeah, well, he did make the joke of like, he got a computer virus, and that's why he died. Which, yeah, it's
nice, tasteful.
Tasteful, yeah.
Brilliant.
That's Jimmy Carr.
One of the greatest minds.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, yeah. But
no, that's funny.
But Stephen Hawking is like, he would have rolled with it.
Yeah, he apparently had like a pretty famously decent sense of humour, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, he's...
Makes sense. Did you ever hear about that time traveller's party he threw?
I saw a documentary where he did that. It's like,
documentary?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like, so I threw this party, and I know that I would have invited people in the future about this party, and so I told them the date, so they should be rocking up any minute. Shit, okay, we've got a problem with time travel, guys.
Yeah. But it's just like egotistical as well. Like maybe they just don't want to go to a Stephen Hawking party. Or maybe they don't want to be outed as time travellers. I still have hope.
Well...
Actually, I hope time travel is not possible. That would be horrifying.
It would be horrifying. We might get like the testicle monsters from Rick and Morty coming up to us being like, don't mess with time!
That's it, man.
Yeah, but like the thing, like whenever I hear people like try to provide evidence for time travel, is like I had this one friend who said to me, "Oh, I heard about this story about how these archaeologists like they found this tomb, and like one of the mummies in this tomb was like in Egypt. Like they looked like they had this watch, and like this watch that looked exactly like the same watch as like this brand of watch here. It's like, well, hang on a minute." We're saying that someone like invented time travel and now can travel through time and space, and the one and only thing they did was just put a watch on this one specific dude.
But maybe the guy wearing the watch is the time traveller. Maybe he died though.
Maybe, but like what? But it's just like
he had to take off his Apple Watch before he died.
But it's like these people or people who talk about like ghost stories, like how they go, oh yeah, I was like. In this cabin that was like in the middle of this woods, and like us and like we were having a good time having a party, but we left the room and we came back and we noticed like a cup had moved from this place to the other end of the table, and how did that happen? It's just like, okay, so if it's a ghost being like, I'm gonna like fuck with these guys by like moving this cup 5 inches this way. Whoa!
I love it though, but yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief. I think I just so desperately want some of it to be real, Well, like I love Whitley Strieber's accounts of being abducted. He never says they're aliens; he calls them visitors. Well, but I also hope desperately that it didn't happen, because this man is traumatized, and I don't want to think that you could just get abducted in the middle of the night and have probes and stuff done to you.
I guess, yeah, but
it's fun.
It's I don't know. Well, are you talking about like aliens? And
Yeah,
stuff?
sorry, yes.
Yeah, look, I'm kind of neither here nor there with that sort of stuff. It's like
statistically, they probably exist out there somewhere. Have they been here to Earth? Totally different question. Sorry if I've just doxed us. Yes, we do live on Earth.
Yeah. Or speaking of doxing, well, not doxing, but I've currently been working for DoorDash, and I love how whenever I pull up to a restaurant or dropping off an order, like the GPS speaker AI voice is like, and Australia is to your left, and it's like if for some reason it doesn't say the street number, the location, the restaurant, it just says Australia.
Awesome.
It's like, oh, great.
Great.
Really?
Like American-centric technology or something. It's super confused why you're not in Los Angeles.
Yes, it's like, okay. But yeah, but thanks for the heads up about that doxing.
That's okay.
Planet Earth.
Might have to edit this in post.
Yeah, maybe. But like with the alien stuff, like, something that Brian Cox said, that's
Great
slightly
man.
off topic, but still relevant when it comes to, well, life in general, I guess, is it kind of gives me hope for humanity when he said that. So while it is very likely that there's life elsewhere in the universe, but for intelligent life, as in
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens, like life as it exists, how we exist, kind of thing. It would have to be pretty rare, because we know for a fact that it took the universe, like 1/3 of the universe's lifespan for life to get to the point that we are now. So
I also don't think we're that special. I think it's just like the ego. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think like the human brain is sacred. Like, I don't think it's necessarily, if evolution's like the end product of survival of the fittest, I don't think the human brain is always necessarily the best possible outcome. Like, you can have other ways of becoming the apex predator on a planet without being clever through evolution.
The thing I find really ironic about the human brain, or human as in an intelligent species, is that I always kind of use... did you hear about Chappelle Corby? That is a perfect example of how intelligent we can be, but how dumb we can be as well. Because we're the same species that is capable of sending astronauts to the moon, but we spent 9 years talking and like obsessed over this one chick
who had marijuana and a surfboard.
Yeah, and like asking the same question over and over again. True. Did she or did she do it? Like, well, at the same time, there was another Australian that was being done for the same charges that no one gave a shit about. And the reason why, like, the only real reason, like, it felt like that we were paying attention to Chappelle Corby was because she was kind of good looking, you know.
Okay.
Well,
hot take.
Well,
hot take.
But I'm not the only one that's saying that.
Corner.
But why else? Why do we care so much about this?
That's a good question.
Situation, but the other one we're like,
It's a very good question.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
It's like, because, well, look, that's not just me being a dick, like, or anything. Like, I'm just...
What is the cause of the phenomena? Like, why do we focus on this stuff? And I don't know, man.
And also, like, I am paraphrasing Friendly Geordies a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, sorry. I hope I don't get sued. But anyway, but that's, I feel like, kind of like the weird sort of paradox when it comes to human
part of the human
intelligence.
Condition, for sure.
So,
for sure. Anyway, we might have to pick this up another time.
Yeah, before we will wrap this up now. So, thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.
Toodles.